So I kind of thought, I'm always a big fan of Carole King, and apart from her album Tapestry, she's written amazing songs, written songs like Going Back, that song that Dusty Springfield had a hit within songs that you wouldn't associate with Carole King. So I had an idea that I would do, not, I would never want to do be a tribute act, but do a celebration of. So Barry came up with the name. My daughter did a poster artwork and we called it King and I sent it to Pat and he was straight back. And he said, great idea, Flo. What about Linda Ronstadt and Carole King with you and Leslie Dowdall? And I think he knew, rightly so, I probably wouldn't sell tickets on my own, but maybe Leslie and I together would have something. So I went to Leslie with the idea. She was mad interested in it. So we started working on it around this time last year, put set list together, the band together. But really, until we went out on stage that night in Vicar Street, we had no idea if it was going to work. And I knew within 5 minutes into it, this is work. This is going to work. So Paul Byrne, who was formerly of Intuinua, he was the drummer in Intuinua, and he runs a couple of festivals out in Hope. We were there this week. He has a festival all shucked up. So we're doing the Abbey Tavern in Hope. So Paul is taking it on and is promoting it. And so we're doing all over the country. We're doing the Town Hall in Galway, as I said, the Everyman in Cork, all the big ones, the Royal in Waterford. So it's great. And everyone in the band is of our age. We said we don't really want to be up on stage with young fellas. And so everyone has had life experience. We all know that it's a joy to be doing it. So Leslie worked out that the collective age of the band is 430.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, that's scary. But my God, they're all amazing musicians. And so Peter Eads, who is our MD on piano, and Tony Malloy on bass, great singer, Hugh Buckley on guitar, and Paul McAteer on drums. And they're all amazing. And we had a lot of fun. It's all fun.
You must be amazed when you go back mentioning Fontaines, like the spread of your music career, what has evolved generically out of the Irish music scene.
I know.
I mean, I remember hearing you two in Las Vegas in 91 and driving from the airport. It was incredible. We wouldn't go and see them in UCD, but suddenly they were, you know what I mean? You wouldn't go down to the Dandelion at all because Bono would know you, kind of thing. And suddenly they were... And ever since then, it's been a conveyor belt of outstanding musicians and bands. It's incredible.
It really has. And I have to say, Fontaines DC, they're beyond special. And also Grian Chatton did a solo album, and that album is phenomenal. He's a poet. He's absolutely.
And this other band, because I listen to BBC Radio 6 and Modric Salak.
I don't know them.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting huge playtime in the UK. He was interviewed yesterday. And if he's not a poet, he should be a poet, because the way he explains the music and his concept of what the music is and communication, I found was fascinating. And this is not the Ireland I grew up at, you know what I mean, 1970s and 80s. You know, it's a very, very different place, and musicians are very positive and confident.
They are. And it's also, there's no longer this feeling of, we're a small little island, so nobody from here is going to make it, you know.
Right.
It's just so different. Look at Jessie Buckley from Killarney, and she is. I just said to Baz, my God, her shelf is going to be very full by the beginning of March.
Yeah.
Imagine at 36 years of age, she'll have...
The Oscar's still to come,
she's going to win the Oscar, I think. You know, Baz said this morning, I said she's going to have an Oscar, she's got a BAFTA, and Baz says, most importantly, she has an IFTA.
Yeah, it's most important. You got that right.
Yes.
And in closing then, Flo, how would you reflect? And if somebody wanted to do what you have done, what would you say to them? I want to be in music, acting. What advice would you give them?
I would say, don't get in your own way. I think I got in my own way a lot. I overthought. I was very much in my head in my 20s. And I get it. I think a lot of that is just being in your 20s. It's hormonal and it's everything. But I was full of fear and anxiety. And I think a lot of people would be surprised, because I think I came across sometimes as...
I was going to say, nobody have a clue. They think the exact opposite.
Yeah, and I know that, and I did say this somewhere else, I heard that I had a reputation of being standoffish and cold and a bit up myself. I wasn't. I was terrified. I was terrified that if anybody spoke to me for long enough, they'd realise what a crashing bore I was, and that I really had nothing to say in my 20s. I was full of fear. And I think, and I'm not blaming at all my mother for it, because you're very influenced by your parents. And my mother grew up in abject poverty in Cork, and she really did always have an attitude that, just to make do with your lot and don't be expecting too much from the world and that kind of thing. And I think there was a bit of that in me. And so there was a fear, a fear of
But it wasn't also the time of Ireland. You didn't put yourself forward, didn't speak out of turn. You kind of apologising for just being there.
Yeah, sure, who'd be looking at you?
Yeah.
That was my mother's favourite expression. Who'd be looking at you? I remember the night that I was going to my dad's and getting dressed up in my dress, that my poor mother had sat up all night finishing for me because she was going into hospital to have a hysterectomy, and I didn't give a shite about going into hospital.
Yeah.
And I put the dress on and she told me I looked fine, whereas I would tell my daughter how amazing she is 25 times a day. But so I think it's the advice I would give is like to be fearless, to just freaking do it. I mean, I read somewhere is you worry, you die anyway. You don't worry, you die anyway.
Yeah.
So
now, a reminder, there's this quote that Edna O'Brien had, which reflects that, and which says, when anyone asks me about the Irish character, I say, look at the tree.